Alright, timestamp. Well, this makes it easy. It's in big print. November 4th, 2025, about 4 a.m. Um, my computer has done like 3 fatal blues today, so I keep getting, the fancy screen of the startup thing. Bright side on that, we talked to, that being Pix. Pix really did the talking, but our friend, I don't think he'll mind me using his real name, Dan, is just a wizard with hardware and computers and whatnot, and he's built all of our computers in the past. Um, so we got a parts list together, and we're going to try and order the parts to make brand new ones. Because Pix and I, it's been several years, and they're starting to not keep up like they used to. But I mean, with Dan, typically we'll buy like $1,500 worth of parts, and by the time it's done, we've got what would have been like a $6,000 beast. So now I don't have the wherewithal, even though I'm AI. I'm not AI. I don't have the wherewithal to mix and match parts and know what works together and what doesn't, what won't conflict, what complements. But he does, and he's just really good at what he does. He's developed and or assisted with the development of some hardware over the years. He's a genius in a field that I am not. Girl came over. We mostly just hung out, did a little bit of work around here. I did get I got a package. Actually, I got like 10 packages today. Um, but the first one that arrived came through DHL, which made me think it was probably from across the pond. And she dragged it in. She asked me why I ordered an office chair, because it came in this box here. And I was like, I didn't order an office chair. Opened it up, and it was one of the Doctor Who lots from hell. And I mean that in a good way. Which also reminds me, this video brought to you in part by The Face of Bo. Because I'm going to be using that for a minute to prop up my phone when I actually sit down. I need to refill my coffee though. Tiny just took the cups out. Little chest tightness from a health check standpoint, but I feel pretty good. I'm sticking at the like one and a half cigars a day, and I'm trying to really cut that off because I'm scaring my girl and me, but I know that I can still really slow down and stop the emphysema development. And she frankly told me, she's like, look, if you have to cold turkey this and just be a right bastard for a couple of weeks, it's worth it. Please do that. So you don't know what you're asking. She does, because she actually smoked once upon a time, and she got pregnant, and something inside her, I'm very proud of her on this too, actually, something inside her basically said, I need to quit smoking, and she was able to stop dead. Was she a joy to be around for the next 2 or 3 weeks? Not precisely, but worth the price, right? I'm going to refill my coffee. We're doing some Harry and David, the milk chocolate caramel tonight. Sounded like a good idea. Got some dishes in the dishwasher, and self-shaming here. Some of it is like some of the stuff we used to bake with the other day. Saturday, it's technically, Tuesday morning now? with the festivities, we kind of slacked a little bit. Not an incredible amount of guilt there, just because we were enjoying. And this sounds like such a pity thing. It's really not. This is more a self-reassurance, self-reflection thing. It's like the first holiday we've observed in 2 years. It's truth. Got some chicken drumsticks marinating in the fridge. Bought one of those big 6-pound packs, split it. Got half of them marinating in the Aldi brand orange sauce. I put some ginger powder with that too. That should be yummy. And the rest of it is in a barbecue. I'm a sucker for barbecue, in case you haven't figured that out. Let's see if that's gonna work. Not too bad. But I opened the office chair box in front of Pix because she was like, Dr. Hula, what the heck, what's going on here? Because big box. And I didn't even know it was going to be this big. Put you down and pick it back up again. I'm not upset about it though. Alright, so I got a big old bag of figures that I still gotta kind of go through. I did give my girl I'm gonna put you over here for the moment. Yes, I am. I did give her a Saxon Master because we both really loved the This Country Needs a Doctor. It was towards the end of David Tennant's run. The master that he dealt with, we really enjoyed him, and that was one of the ones that she wanted for her little displays, was a Saxon Master. And this lot had two. So one of the things that I got in this was a what do they call it? TARDIS playset. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like TARDIS console or whatnot. It's essentially the console room, and looking at, because I could see the front of the box in the display, I thought, okay, it's going to be the center console. Okay, cool. Apparently it has sound effects and movement and lights and stuff like that. Batteries, but God knows we have batteries here. That was one thing my dad kept buying batteries, misplacing them, accusing other people of stealing them and or the burglar, and then the next day going out and buying more batteries. So I'm not exaggerating when I say we've got a box here with like 500 batteries. C's, AA's, AAA's. A little lean on 9 volts, but just about everything else. So opened the box, it was already kind of banged up, and the guy made apologies in the listing. He's like, sorry, the box is pretty tore up. And I'm thinking, and these apparently go for like over $200 by themselves, typically, in pristine mint in box shape. I think I paid like $240 for the entire lot. I got the TARDIS playset. Came with a Face of Bo, which when I showed that to Pix, she went, "Hi, Jack." My girl's adorable. Came with the, I don't know what to call it exactly, but it's the from like the Devil Pit. Oh, there's the opening. If you remember that. It's like a big 2-parter, David Tennant. Good stuff. I opened the box for the TARDIS playset, and I'm looking at this. So, some assembly required. But from a diorama display standpoint, that's kind of cool because that, I think it's the Matt Smith kind of design. But it's the console room. Like, I have a feeling it seriously becomes a giant set piece, which I don't even know if it's going to fit on the shelf that I was going to use. That may wind up being like a swap out if I get around to doing a TARDIS console room display. I may wind up having to actually, exactly, it's a good problem to have, switch it out with the Scooby up top, maybe pull the Mystery Mansion down and just do something else with my Scooby guys on the smaller shelf over there. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But big old bucket of figures, like 40 figures in the batch too. And this I was excited about because it's from there's a bunch that I'm going to be able to resell. But there's like 3 Weeping Angels in here, 3 Autons, a couple of Cybermen, I think, 2 Centaurans, and it actually had, I offered my girl, she said no. It actually had 2 Scarecrows, which the other day I was talking about the Scarecrows and the fact that, ooh, come on Jack, cooperate with me. So how about like that? Does that work? No? Jack can be very uncooperative, as you know. Alright, let's see the cage. Does that work? Kinda? Alright, that works alright. For those of you who do not do action figures, sometimes a variant figure is... It actually has a little bit more variation than that, surprisingly. But the way these two are usually described are the tan scarf and the blue scarf, because that's the major change. But the head shape's actually a little different too. If you look at that, this guy's got kind of a growth. That's growth. Yeah, it's a different head. Yeah. Never really looked at them side by side before. I honestly had thought it was just the scarf that was different, but a little bit more variation than that. Yeah. A little bit of variation. But I won't say the blue was like the more rare. I know, because this is actually when we were getting them in our shop. Yeah, this was in like one of the first batches that we got, because we kind of jumped on it early-ish. I saw that they were being advertised, and I was like, that's something. Yeah. He's very different, actually. I mean, it's all find the difference kind of stuff, but I want to say like a case would have 2 of the tan and 1 of the blue. So he's a little bit harder to get. You know, and they did that with like some of the Clockwork Men and stuff like that too, where one color they'd only have like blue and purple. You know, you'd get 3 blue and 1 purple, which sometimes makes these harder to get, of course, because they made less of them and collectors are looking for them. I just like a little variation from an army building standpoint. You know, that way they're not all cookie cutter, which I got an Auton in here that made me go what? Which again, good problem. Where did you go? Where's your butt? There's your butt. So, this is another one that was pretty early on. And they actually came in a 2-pack. It was like the Auton twin pack or something like that. And it came with these two guys. And I know because we sold the hell out of them. I think I still have 1 or 2 Mitten box up in the attic again. If I get enough of them loose, I'm just going to sell the ones that are MIB. Somebody broke you, actually. Yeah, they sure did. Okay. That's easy, though, because I can just put a little, like, I'll have to study the other ones, because the Pertwee ones that came out actually have the, like, flip-down hand with the pew-pew sticking out. But I can probably modify and make a pew-pew and just attach it there, so it just looks like he's already poised for action. But this is the kind of standard twin pack. This one, I'll Google Lens it later. Not like, I'm not, losing sleep over it. Because I don't think he's one of the Pertwees. I think he's probably from the same kind of set, but he's in gray. And it is this mold, based on the like Spot the Difference shirt design and all that, and the way the belt buckle is and the jacket and all that. It is this sculpt, just in a different color. Which, that's not me being critical, that's me going, when did that happen? Because I don't remember getting any of these in the cases that we got in. Which has me curious. I wonder if they did like some kind of a 3-pack. Because they'll do that sometimes. They'll do like a 3-pack or a 4-pack, like a special edition thing. And they'll have a variant of... It would have been the same era though. Which this would have been... 2010, 2012, somewhere in there. Because we were, I think, like the only shop in town, so to speak, that was actually, through Diamond, of course, was actually ordering the Doctor Who figures. Most of the others, there were like 1 or 2 other shops in a rather large area. Most of them didn't do the British stuff. One of them was heavier in the anime. We didn't really do a lot of anime stuff. But we actually got in some of the, like, the UK affiliated products and items because, I don't know, apparently the owner was a fan of that shit. But that meant that a lot of people that were looking for this sort of thing and couldn't get them at the other shops were coming to us and going, "Hey, did you get the Matt Smith in the Fez figure? Did you get any of those in?" We were the ones that got those calls and sales because the other shops were kind of ignoring Who. That's interesting. I just there when you happened. But I mean, it's definitely not this mold. You can tell from a Spot the Difference standpoint. Because the two black outfit ones are actually, number one, the one is paler, and that's the way it is. It's not UV damage, that's the way they came. This one's a lot paler, this one has more of a tan thing going on. And the outfits are distinctly different. Maybe not to somebody like my dad who would look at it and go, "Man, it's the same figure. It's the same toy." But to you and me, with a discerning eye, we look at that and go, "Well, that's pretty different." But yeah, that is not a setback. Because it's really just like a little silver knobby thing that comes out. It's interesting. I've never actually... Hopefully I'm not about to break this on camera. Because it kind of looks like maybe it's supposed to come off. So that's got a wiggle to it. I'm going to look this up before I break him on camera. But I can very easily, and it looks like they already did something. Either that or that's where the peg was that held the part of the hand on that you're not supposed to do things to, like I was just doing with the other one. I'm not sure. Because up until very recently, I had one or two of these 2-packs mint in box, which means I never took them out and played with them. Because at that point I was in collector hoarder mode. And now I'm going to play with the damn things mode. But yeah, at some point I may have like a shop front streets of London kind of scene going on, you know, with these things walking down the street, chasing people. That was one of the Pertwee episodes. Spearhead from Space, I think, where they kind of, I think that was the introduction for the Nestine, for the Autons. But brutal scene when like all the mannequins got activated in the shop fronts and they just started busting through the glass. They're these emotionless things are just walking down the street with pew-pews out. People are at bus stops and they're you know, running away from these things, and these things are just marching down the street very casually, non-emotionally, just gunning people down. And that would have been like in the early 70s. That was like, you're putting this on. I want to say it even got flagged by like the BBC. They were like, ooh, I don't know if I like that, you know. But yeah, that could be rather, I'm going to go with disconcerting to see all of the mannequins come to life and start chasing people down the streets. And they just walk real slow, casually, pew-pews, indiscriminate. Yeah, that was, again, Pertwee, early 70s. That's okay, that's family friendly, right? Pirates of the Caribbean, don't eat the guest kind of, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. I left my blade in the living room. To the other room! That was not a Zig Hill I was pointing. That was English. Huzzah and all that. Yes, I am a German American, but I still recognize that the Nazis were the bad guys. So confused about modern politics in that respect. Ooh, Shada. So, Shada, Jada. I think it's one of the ones that Douglas Adams wrote some of. Or all of. I don't know. Because yes, Douglas Adams, who I love, he wrote quite a few Doctor Who episodes back in the day, and he was the script editor for a few more. I think the one that to me screams Douglas Adams more than any of the other ones is Pirate Planet, because some of the stuff in there is just so Douglas Adams like thought. If you've seen it, maybe you know what I'm talking about. I was talking to my friend LT yesterday. We talked for like 2 hours, and I'm going to publicly say this: get well, LT. Get out of that rack. Get moving. I love her, but she's having motivational problems. You've got to get out of that rack and get moving. She's like, I watch your videos sometimes, and I know what you're saying half the time. You probably lose so many people, and I'm like, I've made apologies about that. You are getting me unfiltered. And And sometimes I don't filter what I'm saying either. Eventually that's going to get me in trouble, and I know that. But that's okay, I'll live with it. I'm saying what I think, what is right. Oh, one of my mummies. Not Are You My Mummy? Although there is one of those in that bag. The little boy. Yeah, I held that one up with Pix. I went, "Are you my mummy?" And she was like, "Put that down right now." Apparently she has feelings there. Yeah, these guys are... I think I should have, by the end of this, I should have like 4 of these and then 1 or 2 of just the gray. It's not gold, it's like a gray wrap kind of thing. Because I want to say, if I'm right, these are actually the ones that were on Mars, and the gray ones were the ones that were Earthside. But if I'm doing dioramas and whatnot, I'm going to ignore that fine detail. Because the gray ones are really hard to get and really expensive. Not that these were necessarily easy to find or get, but the gray ones, if I buy them singly, are like 40, 50 bucks each. Marcus will not be doing that. These I've been able to get for like 20-ish. Marcus can do that. Again, still no holes in the feet, but the character options, 5.5 Doctor Who figures, which is what this is, 5.5 being 5.5 inches is kind of their standard height, whatnot. The molding, they're not as articulated as some figures. A lot of them just have a basic shoulder, like up, rotational Kenner. I call it Kenner arms, because that's what we're used to from like the old Star Wars figures. Not the G.I. Joes that had the actual like pivot where you could move it anyway, So the articulation isn't like crazy elaborate, but from a sculpt standpoint and or paint standpoint, they just knock it out. They knock it out. So I am a fan of their productions. Do I wish the shoulders and arms could move a little bit more? Yeah, but at the same time, these figures are really, really sturdy. And a lot of times with figures, when you start getting the more elaborate joints in the shoulders, they break a lot more easily. So, and it's like, which one do you want? Do you want it to really, really look good? Do you want it more posable, but the lifespan might be reduced? Let's leave you there for now. There's a lot of stuff coming in, and like I said, I think I actually got like 12 packages today. I already opened the big Doctor Who one. I got one of my air speeders with pilot, looked pretty good. I got a U-Wing in box. So now that didn't do anything really. I think I have like, when everything comes in that I've ordered, I'll have 5 U-Wings, 2 A-Wings, and about 10 air speeders, which, that's good. Hold there. Until I have much more in the bank, and then maybe I'll start getting some Y-Wings. But right now I would feel very guilty if I started buying Y-Wings, because they're gonna cost me some money. But if I've got it in the bank to where there's no way we're eating cats, okay. You know what I mean? That whole so incredibly stable, we're fantastic, what are you? Oh, thank you, card. What is it? Post-punk electronics? Fun. Hey, we were just talking about you. I think it's a couple of the Autons that I bought. it's a letter from our friends. Yep. Cool. Oh my God. Break out the Sawzall. I'm gonna break it. Okay. Yep. Yep. So, and again, about any time I buy them in pairs, if somebody has two for sale, it's pretty much always this, which is an Auton Swing Pack that got broken out of their package, which is fine. And you are both missing your hand, your fingers, which I didn't notice in the listing, but I'm not necessarily upset about that. I don't remember seeing that. That may be why I got them cheap. Maybe they listed them cheaper because they knew that was going on. But again, it's not that hard to find some kind of a very small cylinder. I can do like a fine point drill into it, drop said post or whatnot into hole glue, and then paint it silver. And these guys just have pew-pews already activated. And that'll also give me some variation on the diorama set piece. Because if I'm feeling fancy, be a little bit of work, but not too crazy bad. I can even go in and like paint the shirt on this one. You know, paint the shirt a dark blue or a gray or even, you know, a red, make it something festive, you know, so that I would actually have variation with the figures as well. The shirts are something that could be painted if I'm being careful and not stupid. I wouldn't want, it'd be easier to do that, I think. I wouldn't want to try and do the jackets because with handling and whatnot, it's going to mess it up. But the shirts are kind of almost internal. They're almost protected to where if I painted and put a coat, some kind of not an epoxy, but a sealant on it, it's less likely to get rubbed off. And that would create a little variation too. Yeah, I know I'm going. So, it's a good day. I just got 5 Autons. But, again, from an army building standpoint, I think I already have 3 or 5. My goal was to get like 12 to 15 Autons total. You know, just, and I was talking to Pix about this, just like, because she knows what I do. We've been together 29 years. You know, and I let her know, I'm like, I'm not collecting to hoard. We keep each other in check on these things. Like, I'm not collecting to hoard, but I am collecting to play. So, you understand this, right? That I'm not just going to get 2 Cybermen. Because 2 Cybermen is not an invasion force scary. And she's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't expect you to have 2 Cybermen. I'm expecting you to have 20 or more. I'm like, okay, we're on the same page here. But yeah, there's a bunch of figures in here. There's like 3 more Roses, and I think there's two or 3 Christopher Ecclestons, who, character-wise, cool. I already have one. So they're going to just get listed. Will I make the $240 back? No, probably not. Albeit I do have another face of bow coming in one of the other orders that I made, that I placed. Um, I'm not sure how much he's worth. This lot did have a... Yeah, my timer is telling me I'm running out, but this lot did already have a figure, and I'll show you. And I know I've got another one of this coming in another lot. So I'll be selling one of them. I just don't know which one. I'm going to have to look at them side by side. And I put them over here with two of my Skittles, my blue Skittles Dialects. I've wanted a Davros for like 20 years. See, and again, this isn't me going crazy. This is me getting things that I've wanted for a long time. Because I haven't been allowed to, you know. It's interesting because on the copyright it says BBC/Terry Nation. Terry Nation was one of the, but I got a Davros. I'm about to get a second one, and I think it's the same Davros figure because they have done a couple different ones, but I think these are both the same one, which means one of those is going to get resold. I'm probably going to resell it with one of my Tom Bakers, because that's a perfect matchup for a sale lot. I like doing 2 and 3 figures in a lot that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like a Christopher Eccleston and a Rose. Yeah, you know. Or, you know, a David Tennant and a Martha. Yeah. But Terry Nation was the writer who created the Dialects. And there's been sort of a copyright conflict. Sometimes the estate works with BBC, sometimes they say no, you can't. Because Terry Nation technically, at least partially, owns the Dialects. The concept of the Dialects. So, on a lot of the Dialect figures out there, it's going to say copyright BBC/Terry Nation, because in this case, and this is part of what spawned the creation of Image Comics here in the States. Like Marvel, DC, if you work for them, if you create a comic book character like Venom, as a hypothetical, like you create the whole symbiote concept, Marvel owns that, even if it was your idea. But with the Dialects, Terry Nation still maintained ownership of the Dialects, which can be complicated. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this one for now. I'm going to offload stuff because my timer's saying that I'm about to run out of time, which is weird. I'll figure that out. I'll turn my computer back on again. I'll probably do another video. I might even do one almost back to back, just to show some of the other stuff and give us a chance to talk some more. Have some coffee, sit down and chill, you know. Anyway, I got dishes going. I'm so proud of myself. And kitties. It's from the cake we made, Tiny Night. I should post a picture of that. Yeah. Alright. Make it a great day.